If you rely on word of mouth to get all of your business or a significant part of your business, then you're probably missing out. Now, that's nothing against word of mouth. Actually, word of mouth will get you the highest quality prospects that you'll get from anywhere because people come in for free. You don't have to pay for them. Plus, they have a referral, so that builds a certain level of trust before you ever talk to them. So word of mouth is wonderful. I have nothing against word of mouth. The problem is that you have no control over it and there's no predictability. So if you're just kind of sitting by the phone waiting and hoping that somebody's going to call you, then that's not the best way to run a business. Now, there may be exceptions, right? I mean, there's like ChatGPT managed to blow up like crazy with just pure word of mouth without any advertising at all, but that's rare. Like you have to be very, very exceptional like ChatGPT to make that work. For everybody else, for everybody that's just a mere mortal, the alternative is advertising. And people dislike advertising, I think, because they don't understand it. They've seen a lot of advertising that is not very effective, and they see it as very expensive, and they're like, no, well, I don't want to do that. So especially if you think about like TV ads or radio ads, especially for the big corporations, which the big corporations spend a lot of money on those things. And so they have these cutesy slogans and these talking animals and all this like highly produced stuff that is maybe effective in some cases, because if you're a big business, then especially if you're something that's sold in stores, and the way that you advertise is going to be completely different than if you're a normal small business. So for example, let's say you're Coca-Cola. The whole point of your advertising is not to get somebody to go click on the link and go buy Coca-Cola from your website, right? Nobody does that. What you want is that the next time the person is in the grocery store and they see the Coke over here and the Pepsi over here, they choose the Coke instead of the Pepsi, right? Which is a very different situation than the vast majority of small business owners. For us, usually we want somebody to call us on the phone. We want somebody to opt into our web form. We want somebody to click on our website and go buy the thing from the website. And so for us, the advertising that works is very different than what works for the big corporate brands. And what we want to do too is direct response advertising, whereas the brands oftentimes are doing what they call brand advertising. Now, I'm a little skeptical of brand advertising just because it's very difficult to measure. So I suspect that a lot of the money that these big companies are spending on brand advertising is basically just wasted. What direct response advertising means is you're advertising for somebody to take an action immediately upon seeing the ad. So that may be, depending on what the ad is, it may be to click on a link and sign up for a free thing. It could be to book a phone call. It could be to go to a website and buy a thing from your website. It could be to call you directly, right? Those are all direct responses because they're responding directly to the ad. And then the way that you are successful with that is now with modern tools is easier than it's ever been in the history of mankind, because the targeting is so good now, especially if you use YouTube ads or something else in the Google ecosystem, because Google knows everything about everybody. They know what you're searching for on Google. They know what you're watching on YouTube because they own YouTube. They know what emails you're reading in Gmail. They know what websites you're browsing on your Chrome browser. They know what you're doing on your Android phone. They know what websites you're looking at that have Google Analytics installed, which is more than half of all websites in the world. They even know where you're driving if you use their Google GPS, right? So they know a lot about people, like a scary amount of information about people. But if you're a business owner and you would like to advertise to people, that's very, very powerful, because you can use that information to your advantage. You can say, I'm looking for people that want a custom pink and white birdhouse that has a button that sings. I'm just being silly here, but like, you know, if you're selling to people who want a remodeled kitchen, then Google knows, because they're searching in the Google search, how to remodel my kitchen renovation, or they're watching videos about kitchen renovations or beautiful kitchens on YouTube, right? Google knows this stuff, and so you can put your ad directly in front of those people, and you say, hey, are you tired of having an ugly, out-of-date kitchen? Well, click the link below and talk to me, or call this number, and I'll give you a free estimate for how to renovate your kitchen, and I'll even give you some mock-ups, or whatever you want. Like, if you understand where people are coming from, what they're frustrated with, and what they want, you can target them directly, and you can just tell them, hey, I know you're frustrated with this, this, and this, and I know that you want this, this, and this, so click here and I'll give you a free thing, or call me on the phone and we'll talk about how I can get you everything that you want so you can avoid everything that you don't want, right? You can customize your message to exactly the person that you're talking to, and if you do that, then your advertising will work like crazy. And here's the thing, as compared to just like word of mouth, which again, word of mouth is great, but advertising is consistent and it's predictable. You spend $10 a day on advertising, let's say, and it doesn't have to be expensive, by the way. It's not like in the past where you had to spend $1 million on a TV commercial that you don't even know if it works, right? With YouTube ads or similar online ads, you can spend a couple bucks a day and just like get an idea of how it's working. And then when you find that it is working, then you scale up the ad spend, and it's predictable. So if $10 a day gets you, let's say, 1 lead, if you spend $20 a day, you'll get 2 leads. And if you know that 1 out of 5 of those leads turns into a customer, well, then it's $10 times 5 is $50 you're spending for 1 customer. So it's very, very predictable, where the word of mouth is not. Now, to be fair, advertising leads, the people that come from advertising, they don't know you from Adam. So they are not the quality of leads that you're going to get from word of mouth. So if your word of mouth people will buy, let's say you can close 75% of them, well, with leads from advertising, maybe you only close 20 or 30%, because the word of mouth comes with a certain level of trust, whereas the advertising does not. But again, the advertising is consistent. It is predictable. So if you know that you close 30% of leads from advertising, and you know that it costs you $10 to get a lead from advertising, then you know exactly how much you have to put in on average in order to get a new customer, and you just set your ad spend. So, okay, it costs me $100 to get a new customer, for example, and I want to get 5 customers a week. Great, I will spend $500 a week on ad spend, and on average, I will get 5 customers per week. And it's something that's very predictable. You can pretty much set your clock to it. Now, there is variation. There's natural variation because you're dealing with humans, and there's market cycles and all that. But in general, it's very, very predictable. So if you want to be in control of your business, in control of the revenue and the customers that are coming in, digital advertising is the single best way that you could possibly do it.